Hello. It is August 14th, 1946, the year after the ending of the Second World War. We have put together a nice tribute for you today of all of the past 4 years that the war has been going on. From the beginning of the war, from the Lend-Lease Act, all the way to the bombing and the eventual surrendering of the Japanese. So, take a look. Our first big topic, the Lend-Lease Act. Action.
Well, guys, we can't just sit here.
Well, sir, do you really want to be involved in the war?
No, but isn't there a way we can contribute to those who are essential to the defense of the United States?
What about sending weaponry, supplies, and materials without sending American soldiers?
Yes, this would be a good way to eliminate the dollar sign. Everything that we would be lending them would be returned in the same form given. If a tank is destroyed in war, they will simply replace the tank, again eliminating the aspect of money.
Well, it seems that Great Britain is the only opinion open for this plan. Close Germany off from this agreement.
The United States believed that it was the best way to stay neutral in the war while still defending our country. Later, this proved to be a bigger controversy than expected. It seemed that our efforts away, as well as our efforts at home, have paid off. The change in American lifestyles, such as rationing and home modifications, really made a difference in the outcome of the war. Saving materials such as gas, oil, and metal contributed to the weaponry supply and the manufacturing pace. Things needed such as boots, sugar, and fabric were given to the soldiers at a faster rate than if Americans were living the way they were before the war had begun.
Will you put this downstairs with the rest of the food supply? And
Yeah, sure.
will you call the grocery store for me?
I don't think we can. You have to wait till 9 o'clock in order to call them, wasn't it?
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Okay. All right. Well, good night.
Good night.
Don't forget the women's baseball game tonight at 7 o'clock. Also, most Americans weren't aware of the internment camps where the Japanese were being held during the war. So we'll also take a closer look at that after this commercial break. Pure maple sap syrup. It's the best for on top of your pancakes and your waffles. With 22 ounces, it's enough to feed the whole family, even in this time of rationing. So run out and buy our product. My, are your feet dirty? Whenever my feet get dirty, I use Dr. Scholl's foot soap. It's granulated to give you the best cleansing sensation.
Dr. Scholl's foot soap.
Ever since the Japanese attacked Pearl Harbor on December 7, 1941, Japanese Americans have been listed as potential enemies throughout all of the United States. Over 100,000 Japanese Americans were evacuated from their homes to move into internment camps until World War II ended. At first, they were put into temporary assembly centers and later into permanent relocation camps, which were unconstitutional and inhumane. They were in the camps for 3 years, eating, sleeping, working, and waiting. These camps were no brutal concentration camps, but they were still stark, restrictive, and uncomfortable. Americans wanted to help the Jewish people in Europe suffering at the concentration camps because they thought Hitler was killing them. But they never really thought that they were doing almost the same thing to Japanese Americans here on their own soil.
Thanks for that. I think Americans really have a better understanding of what was going on in those internment camps. Now over to John for a look at his footage from the war.
June 6, 1944, D-Day. Allied troops land on the windswept beaches of Normandy. The invasion of Germany's fortress Europe begins. Most of the American soldiers are green. June 6th is their baptism by fire. The American 29th Division lands at Omaha Beach. They are under heavy fire, but they push off the beach. They will keep pushing until they reach San Lo. Many of the German soldiers are veterans. June 6th means another day under fire. The German 352nd Infantry Division moves up to meet the Americans. Veterans of the bitter fighting on the Russian front. The men of the 352nd know how to fight, and they expect left.
Like the video showed, D-Day was June 6, 1944. The Allies against Germany landed on the beaches of Normandy in northern France. The total came out to be 156,000 soldiers from Britain, Canada and America at that day alone. They were hoping to liberate the Europeans throughout France and move through Europe in hopes of taking down the Nazi government and also freeing all of the Jewish people left in the concentration camps. The soldiers succeeded because by the end of the month the Allies were able to get past the German in Normandy and begin to advance in northern France.
And finally, the war was done. Thank you for tuning in tonight, and I just hope that all of you will never forget the details of the war and of course how many lives were actually lost throughout the course of the entire war. God bless America.